Hi, it's Dr. Wendy Rowley here. This is another episode of the Heartfield series. This is number 9. And what I would like to talk about today is the relationship of the creational energy in your energy field, in your spirit body that overlays the physical body's energy field, and how that's all connected through the heart. And it's a very interesting idea that your heart and your heart field, we're talking about the thymic heart, the spiritual heart, not the physical heart, is related to creational energy. And I had breached a subject in one of the earlier episodes about that in the healing work. There's some part that you can do where you move with the energy of other people, your love of plants, your love of your animals, your love of food, whatever it is, and you move that energy out of the heart so that your heart is just you and a pure relationship to the creator. And it's a very interesting concept, and it feels very different when you do that work. Your body consciousness, your body innate actually does that, and it's called oneness integration, and it's done after you do some healing work. And it's a series, and as I said, they'll be bringing through group oneness integration at some point this year coming forward. The setups for that are getting in place. And so anyway, so the file keeper, or your body innate, some people call it the file keeper, you sit there, you share your will, you give it over to the body innate, and that part of you takes it and sometimes puts it in the 6th chakra up here in the center of your head, which is your certainty. And that's where you would admire someone. You would admire their creative force, their divinity, their connection, their talents, their skills, but you don't necessarily put them in your heart, because it's a thought that if God is love, if the creator is love and the source of all love, then you want to be a clear vessel for that love to radiate through you, that you may be a force of that love. Very, very different way of looking at that. And I believe I had said in that original video that love of human to human in the heart can get a little tricky, because what's the difference between love and obligation? If you love me, you will do that for me. If you love me, you will give me that. If you love me, you wouldn't treat me that way. But life is messy. We all have good and bad times. It's not perfect. But when you have someone up in your place of the 6th chakra where you admire them and you're seeing their higher aspects, there's that ability with that love of soul and the creator and the Christ energy, the Christ being coming through your heart, that can allow that to have a kind of intuitive compassion. My grandmother told me long ago that the word mercy was put into the Bible at a certain point. And the Bible brings up, some people get real winged up with the Bible. Some people love it, but there is a lot of truth and wisdom in there, I find. And she had said they'd taken the word mercy and they replaced it. What originally was the term loving kindness. And I love that term, loving kindness, because I think when you are admiring out of the 6th and seeing the divine in people and the qualities in them, and then you are letting that love, and you're doing your healing work, and you're looking at your part, and you're healing your stuff, because you can't heal theirs, except for if you work in some modalities of healing. But your job is to, or your task in one of your life lessons is to look at that and to work those issues through that are yours. That's all you're responsible for, and do the best you can. So it's just a different thought. So I'm going to get out of the way and see what Aliania has to say about the heart field. I know in the last episode, we talked about the soul chakras up above the angel chakras, the soul sensing, the 5 of them. And I believe we're going to go deeper into that. She said she was going to relate that to the outer torus last time. So you have your aura, your body, and that's what most people see. Those are the pictures you see on the web. And then you have an outer auric field that is part of the outer torus. So you can think I'm the inner torus, my body, my being, my spirit body overlay, and the aura field around me, that's all of my soul's information. And then there's a 26-foot wide part of my awareness and my information, or who knows what's in that outer torus. And that's, I guess, some new information that we're going to be bringing in more about that. That sounds exciting. Okay, I'm going to get out of the way. Oh, good day to you, dearest beings of light. My name is Aliania of Cosmic Service. I am a Pleiadian mother of sound. I would like indeed to continue the work about the upper chakras that are senses of the soul that are in the back, off of your sixth chakra, above the angel chakras. The angel chakras are related to the heart and the throat and the sixth chakra. These are your higher centers. This is where a lot of the creational energy is that brings in profound manifestation and benevolence and healing. And so the fifth is, there's a little wheel back there called the creation mandala. And in your sixth chakra is a little soul mandala related to the pineal gland and the pituitary and the hypothalamus, a pathway through there. And in your heart is the heart mandala along the back near the spine. And in your third chakra, your solar plexus, your power center, some people call it, is the soul mandala, which is like a mini representation of the part she just spoke about. That's your body, your spirit body, and your aura field, which is the part you're responsible for. And most of the healing you do is in this inner torus. And you heal and heal and heal if you're called, if it's your feeling that you need to do that. And you eventually find you're getting near the bridge to the outer torus, and that gets to a different level of healing. So what we'd like to do is relate each of those 5 soul sensing chakras, if you want to call them that run along the back, outside your body. They're related to the auric field. They bring in another level of intuitive information that clairvoyants read from. This one's kind of wondered about that because she's seen different levels of the clairvoyance, so she's cleared and healed, of the aura and the body field. And it's that level of knowing where the information just comes. You just see it, you know it, you're no longer struggling to get at it. That's because you're clearing and getting to the working level of working those senses of the heart field. So we said there's a wheel in front here that has to do with feeling, and a little wheel in the back that has to do with the willing. And these are higher centers of the creational part of the soul in the spirit body. So the closest one to the body up here off the back chakra, we had said was related to universal life energy and a sense of hearing, a certain type of hearing. And if you go through the top of the 7th chakra, way above your head, about 2.5 feet up, and you go through an aperture there, some people call it the 8th filter. And if you go through that to the outer torus, there's a corresponding level of 5 other soul aspects. And we're going to relate in a simple way each one of these soul sensing chakras to these 5 soul aspects and describe them. So that's sort of a type of hearing that has to do with universal life in that first center, closest to the body, back behind here, goes up and through that aperture of the 8th chakra out to the outer torus, and it relates to another soul apparatus, a soul aspect, and we'll describe why we call them that has to do with universal life at the galactic level. What does that mean, the galactic level? The galactic level means all of your soul's information since prior to Earth time. It's your deep soul wisdom. It's all your planetary sojourns. It's all of your multiverses. It's all of your creational abilities. You are amazing. You are magnificent. And you are extremely evolved if you got into the system on Earth. You may not see that in people here because it takes several several, maybe a couple hundred lifetimes till they get more adept at being in a body, being in the dense dimension of forgetfulness of this experiment of this planet, if you want to look at it that way. But the higher outer aspect of the Taurus is all of your soul records. And she has suspected this, that that's the galactic aura, the galactic records. And she is right about that. So that one relates to the universal life of the galactic, which then goes out of your bubble, your little universe of galactic and higher self is the inner one. That's your earth records. And the galactic is the outer part of the Taurus, and that's your soul's comprehensive records. And it goes out of your little bubble, we call it, to the field, to the universal life within the field that all partake in. So the next soul sense, we said, had to do with speech, or the ability to be able to bring in words and sounds. And it's a very complex sense. It has much to do with the head and all sorts of centers and energy centers there. And it goes up through the outer Taurus at the top. It goes up through the inner Taurus at the top, through that eighth filter. And it goes to another aspect of soul that relates to the universal life, divine feminine complex of speech. The galactic universal life, what's that compared to the universal life of speech and divine feminine and divine masculine? Because the etheric energy is like a push-pull engine. This one has said your etheric energy has to do with thoughts and movement, and it has a lot to do with your ability to move your joints and your body. And for that, you need divine feminine and divine masculine. And we will expound on these more, just get these little concepts of each little episode that we do, and it'll eventually make a big picture. But you get the little parts and pieces, and you start to put them together as a picture. The same way when you are in school, you get a daily learning, and it comes at the end to be a big picture of a subject. It'll be the same with this. So that, again, goes out of your outer Taurus to a place in the greater field that you all share with universal life and divine feminine, divine masculine connected, that create an engine. It moves things. The third soul sense is related to the galactic of the galactic. We had said it relates to a different level of hearing. We're going to say this galactic relates to sound, to pure sound. And this one has spoken in some of her many seminars and some of her beginning YouTube thing, that you have sound. And even that Bible she spoke about says the very, very beginning, and first there was the word, and the word was sound, or first there was the sound, and the sound became word. Whatever, we can't remember right now. But it sound, to light, to color, to symbols, to pictures, to words. It's the filtration from the pure sound. So this galactic sense of the soul relating to your higher and upper chakras goes through up to the aperture of the inner Taurus, out to the outer Taurus, and it connects to a pathway of pure galactic sound. Not universal life, divine and feminine, but pure sound. And that is something we will talk about in our next episode. We're going to go into describing that one. The fourth center at the back behind your head of a soul sense that relates to this sort of energy we've described of the hearts and this creational mandalas and all that is, and connects to other creational energies that are in the aura. And that is related to a type of, this one's trying to think, get out of the way. That relates to a type of combination of almost like hearing and speech. I know these things sound strange, but think of it as like a hearing and speech. We might have said speech at one time, but think of it as like hearing and speech at the same time, like a dual sense. That goes to the upper part of your seventh chakra, through the eighth aperture, to the outer torus, and it relates to a soul aspect that has to do with sound, speech, and hearing. Because in the outer torus, you have an aspect that is both of those things combined. Because when you're in a conversation, one way to relate that, do you not hear someone speaking and you speak, and you hear and speak and you speak over each other? And this one's been trying to figure out why she's been doing that a lot lately, interrupting people. And it's because she knows what they're going to say. It's part of another soul sense. So don't beat yourself up about that. Just have patience and maybe say, I understand what you're trying to tell me. I have a question. So that's a combined sense. That's a higher intuition. And that goes through up to the outer seventh chakra, to the inner aura, through the eighth chakra membrane, and goes to the outer torus, to another fourth soul aspect that has to do with the galactic intuition. There's something called galactic intuition, which is a combination of hearing and speech. Interesting. The fifth and last soul sense in the back of your sixth chakra is having to do with a type of feeling. Now you have your senses here where you have nerves and you feel and you touch, and you have your feelings that are your emotions, and your feelings that are connected to intuition, empathy, and the primitive instincts of your body. Here comes a car, run, get out of the way. And that is the inner higher self sense of feeling. But the soul sense in this aspect related to feeling, we might have described it a little differently in one of the other episodes, but if you listen carefully, you realize that's kind of what we're describing. But we're giving a simple picture for understanding. And that feeling is not related to universal life, and it is not related to universal life, divine feminine. It is another of a higher soul sense, intuition. So that connects up into the inner aura, seventh chakra. It goes out through the eighth filter to the outer torus of your galactic wisdom and soul energies. And that connects to a soul aspect. So they go this way behind you, but above in the outer torus, they go across like this. So you have across and back this way. Hey, what does that make a shape of? Looks like a cross, right? Symbolism. And that goes and connects to a level of soul feeling, soul intuition feeling. And that is related to the knowing of the heart that this one is speaking about more lately. And we can't remember what channel had that in it, and what or one of her lectures had it in it. It might be in some of the channels on the website under the wisdom channels. And we're going to be bringing in more advanced channels into the members section. Sorry, we don't mean to be coy about it, but some of this information is maybe requires a little digging to get at. And it's not for everyone because it's a little different, the information. So anyway, that intuition is connected going out the top of the outer aura into the field to the greater awareness intuition. So you have an aspect that's lower, that is a sense of knowing of the inner torus in the heart of the spirit body relating to the soul, but you have a higher intuition that's related to the knowing of the group consciousness and the creative source and the creation going on right now. Why so many people are talking about the same thing in the spiritual communities. People's antennas are up. They're picking up on the outer field and some great evolutionary potential that is going on. So that's what we wish to share with you this day. You are dearly loved. Expect benevolence in all you do, and we bid you adieu. All right. I'm going to call that the end of this episode on the Heartfield series, and I'll see you for number 9. Bye-bye. Have a good one.